Welcome to my rapid fire question and answer session. I'm Dr. Prudence Hall, and I've been in the field of hormone replacement for the last 40 years. Our first question is,
before my periods, I totally fall apart. I'm cranky, I'm craving sugar, and I'm exhausted. What can I do?
well, this is typical PMS, and PMS happens at any age, but as we start to age and go into our mid to late 30s, PMS can go from a day or two all the way up to 10 days or even 14 days. So PMS is based on low estrogen levels. And at the end of our menstrual cycle, or a week or two before, the estrogen levels start to fall. So what I do when women have PMS is I give them an eating plan and eliminate all kinds of inflammatory foods. I get them exercising. I put them on fish oil, which is, I love the Alaskan Pure Fish Oil from Costco. It's a great brand. And then I give them a little bit of estradiol, which is estrogen, either in a little bit of cream or in a very, very, very small patch. And PMS usually becomes just non-existent.
Next question. I'm on the birth control pill and I don't feel like myself at all. Can you help me? What is going on?
Okay, so I am not in favor of the birth control pill. I've spoken out for many years saying, please don't take the pill. And the reason why is because even though it's an excellent method of birth control, it really hurts your hormones. So what it does is it cuts off the connection between the pituitary gland in the brain and your ovary. So the ovary doesn't have the guiding light or the guiding hormones to tell it what to do. So women go into a very low hormone state. Their estradiol levels are at the levels of a 60-year-old. Their testosterone is very low, so women tell me that they don't have a sex drive. They lose their muscle mass. They start to feel irritable because when your estrogen levels are low, you gain weight, you're going to feel grumpy, you're going to feel that your brain is foggy, and you just are not going to feel yourself. And I've measured thousands of young women's hormone levels when they're on the birth control pill. So I'm not making any of this up. Your hormones will become very imbalanced. Please come off the pill. Use an IUD or a natural method for birth control. They work very, very well. I've counseled, thousands of women on birth control, and there are many options.
Next question. I never know what to eat for breakfast. A lot of times I wake up and I don't even feel hungry. Can you give me some ideas on what you eat for breakfast?
Well, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Now, if you're doing intermittent fasting and you eat at 6, well, you can have breakfast around 6 or 7. 12, 13 hours is a great fast. You have to train your body to be hungry in the morning. And if you routinely do not eat until 1 or 2 in the afternoon, the body just won't be hungry in the morning. But if you want to lose weight and maintain your weight, really one of the best things to do is to wake up for breakfast and have a good, healthy breakfast, like eat for a king at breakfast, a queen at lunch, and a pauper at dinner. So what do I eat? I have 3 main breakfasts. 2 eggs. They're organic eggs, free pasture raised. I wrap them up cook them and wrap them up in a siete tortilla with avocado. Slam them down. That's 2 eggs in siete tortillas. The second one is I eat a sheep's yogurt with berries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. I put almonds on it as well as walnuts on it. I put chia seeds on it. And then sometimes I'll put a little tiny bit of kefir on it. Slam it down. That's the second breakfast. The third breakfast is a shake, which is what I had this morning. And I use sprouted almond milk, and I put in a very nice protein powder, and I put some maca in it and some other things. Sometimes I put a little berries or fruit in it, but I always use low glycemic fruit. So those are my 3 standbys, and they're really yummy because I have a chocolate shake.
Next question. I have a miserable period. It's really heavy and I have horrible cramps that keep me stuck in bed. What can I do for this?
Well, I remember this as a younger woman, having terrible, terrible cramps and periods. And so many of my clients tell me this. So the first thing I do is I test your thyroid gland, and I also test your adrenals, because when your thyroid gland is low, one of the classic symptoms is a profuse period that'll last 6-7 days. And really, women can bleed a lot. And that was my problem when I was a younger woman. The second thing I do is I prescribe cramp bark. And cramp bark, a great brand is Vitanica. I have nothing to do with Vitanica, but it's a nice naturopathic brand. And the cramp bark you can take throughout the early part of your menstrual cycle when you're having the cramps, and it really helps a lot. Also, taking magnesium glycinate at sleep helps tremendously with cramps. So those 3 things, correcting those thyroid hormones, making sure that their rebalance is very, very important, plus the magnesium and the cramp bark.
Next question. I'm 37 years old and now I want to start planning for a family. How much time do I have?
This is such a good question, and I constantly talk to women about this. So our fertility is a beautiful gift that we're given. And like any goal in life, if you really want to have children, make that a priority in life. It's sometimes something that we put on the very back burner, but if you know you want to have children, that's a goal. Be sure that you choose a partner who also wants to have children. And, there are lots of ways that I help women analyze how long their hormones and how long their eggs will last. Even up to the age of 40, they're quite fertile. I had my first child at 35, the second child at 37, and the fourth child I had at 41 because I had 2 miscarriages. But I see women all the time having babies, even at 40, 41, 42. Now, you don't want to wait that long unless you're pretty assured that your egg status, your ovarian status is going to produce enough eggs. So I measure this hormone called the anti-Müllerian hormone. And that gives me a good idea as to, how much fertility you have left. I also look at this hormone called the follicle-stimulating hormone. And I check that on the second day of your menstrual period. And I check your estradiol and analyze your fertility like that. But I would say make it a goal, if it is a goal. You can probably get in 3 children if you start at 35. I mean, I was not particularly fertile, and I did that. And I would say that's very classic for many, many women. And if you start at 37 or 38, and you have good eggs, you could certainly get in 2 children, maybe even 3, but certainly 2. You could do one, like, let's say, at 38 and one at 40. It's a precious kind of goal that we all have. So help to achieve your goals and to plan for it. And I know it'll happen.
Next question. I'm 42 years old. I've been active my whole life, and I wonder, why can't I continue to build muscle? I feel like I put on weight and it's just stuck. Can you tell me what I'm doing wrong?
Well, this is a great question, and I answer this question all the time also. So perimenopause is the time when our estrogen levels start to decline. So we have this very youthful level, and then perimenopause is when it starts to decline. That decline happens around the age of 35 to 42. And when estrogen is lower, it's much, much harder to build muscle. Now at 42, you could actually be in early menopause. You can still have your period, and the periods can go on for 3 or 4 years, even though you're in a menopausal hormonal state. And in menopause, or a very low, sort of premenopause or perimenopause, what happens is our testosterone levels can lower, our estrogen levels are quite dramatically low, our thyroid gland located right here in the neck starts to decline, and also by the time we're 42, we've been kind of beat up, and our adrenals can be low. All of those hormone deficiencies can cause fatigue and can cause really a sense of not being oneself. So I test those hormones, and then I rebalance them back to youthful levels, or just rebalance them back to your own levels, the levels that are your levels. And these symptoms disappear, and you really are left with a state of energy and happiness and really a lovely sense of being who you actually are and not declining.
Okay, time for our last question.
There's a lot of questions.
I wake up throughout the night. This didn't used to happen to me. Sometimes I'll wake up at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., and it's really tough for me to go back to sleep. Can you help?
Yes, I can. Absolutely, I can. So this is a classic symptom of low estrogen. Whether you're on the birth control pill and have very low estrogen levels, whether you're in perimenopause, 30, 35 to 42, or whether you're in menopause, waking up in the middle of the night is it's very disturbing. It's very, very common. And there are a number of things. Of course, I'm going to test your hormones. And of course, I'm going to rebalance your hormones to normal levels. But let's say that you don't want to do that right now. So I would recommend melatonin, GABA, 5-HTP. In fact, I made a supplement called Sweet Sleep. And I made it because I was telling people, get the melatonin, get the GABA, get the 5-HTP, get the valerian root, and they just wouldn't do it. So you take 1 capsule at night, plus a little bit of magnesium glycinate, and it's really going to help you to regain your sleep and to sleep through the night. What's my dose of melatonin? Well, you can start at maybe 3 milligrams, but generally I recommend 5 to 10 milligrams. I take 15 milligrams every night, and I do it for brain preservation. It really is an antioxidant for the brain. It's anti-inflammatory, and the sleep is profound. It's really a beautiful sleep with those, with sweet sleep or with melatonin or GABA alone. That's it?
We did? Great.
Did it. Okay, tune in for next question and answer time. Thanks for joining me.